Hello and welcome to week 3 of Composition 1. We've done a lot of work over these last 2 weeks where we are doing some very simple assignments, but I'm asking you to really start thinking about the work that we're doing a little bit differently. All of you have your lifetime of schooling behind you where you've had interactions with writing teachers, work with reading, and all those things. So I want you to start evaluating and reflecting on those things. Because thinking about where we're going, we have to look at who we are and where we've come from. So I'm going to slide myself over just a little bit like this so we can start to look at week 3. So we started with our instructions. The instructions are designed to get us thinking about audience and purpose. Because as we move into week 3 and then eventually week 4 and 5, we're going to start applying those concepts a little bit more. And maybe these aren't new to you. That's good. You deserve a couple of easy weeks. But for some of these are new concepts, and that's all right. So for this week, we're starting to think about our next writing assignment, which is who are you as a writer? This is a reflective piece. The prompt basically says you've met your favorite writer. It doesn't have to be your favorite writer, but somebody who's interested in talking about writing. And they want to know more about your history, your thoughts, and your feelings on writing. This is your chance to lay it all out. I'm not saying you have to love writing. I'm not saying you have to love reading, but I want to see what your relationship with writing is. How do you approach it? What have been your experiences? Because we can build on those. I'm not saying that you've had to had a great experience or wonderful teachers. I'm not saying that I'm expecting awful horror stories either. But what are your feelings? And your feelings can be just flat. I don't think about it any way or any other. But I want you to think about that and go through the writing process. So throughout this week, I have a lot of different assignments for you to do. First is a pre-writing assignment. This is an important step. I think we often skip it because most of the time we're just used to writing something down and turning it in. And that is not going to work anymore. I want you to think about how often you draft and revise things in everyday life, where you think something through before you say it. I hope you're doing that, right? But maybe you're writing a text message, or you're working on asking somebody out on a date, or you're going to apply for a job, or asking someone for a favor, or even getting into an argument at and you're rehashing those things that you've said. You don't just type and send, right? You think it through, you type, you erase, you say, oh, I probably shouldn't say that. Those are very specific audience members, and that person that you like, or the person you're arguing with, or you're trying to borrow the car from your parents, and all those things are very detailed audiences, and you know them well. We're going to have to start applying those same strategies to writing for a general audience. What are the expectations that you have? What do you think they value? All of those things. So pre-writing helps us practice what we want to say. Some of my favorite strategies, my favorite one, of course, is write a letter to grandma, because in that you can start explaining what you have to do, so you have to understand it. But then you say what you think you're going to do, and that becomes your draft. So, dear grandma, I have to write this stupid essay about who I am as a writer, and really I don't know what I'm going to say. I think I'm going to say something along the lines of XYZ, right? You put it out there. But write it and then write over something, say it 35 different times. It doesn't matter. This is a draft, and it's meant to be horrible. It's meant to be bad. I would love to see some bad drafts, but hold on to these for yourself. In addition, we're reading an article called From Attitude to Aptitude. It's in a book called What is College Level Writing? It's meant for writing instructors to try to help them rethink their pedagogy or their ways of teaching. And it has a lot of really good essays. So this Attitude to Aptitude essay is written by a writing professor, Ronald Lunsford, and he talks about what he thinks makes good writing. And he will say there's not a set consensus, and even there's problems within his article. So we can look at that, we can critique things, and that's okay. But I want you to read through it and look at these questions that we've asked, and then after that, we have 2 lessons on determining audience and purpose and the rhetorical situation. One's a reading and one looks like a video lesson. So one I didn't make that lesson, but I think it's important for us to look at what other people are doing and draw from that, why recreate the wheel. But look at the rhetorical situation or these rhetorical contexts. They might not be new to you, and that's okay. Then I have a lesson on from attitude to aptitude, and then discussion 6, where I'm asking you to start working on a draft a little bit more. And there's a typo here. I guess I left off the to make this week easier. I'm not really having a singular discussion on from aptitude to or attitude to aptitude. Instead, we're just writing about kind of combining these thoughts or synthesizing these thoughts. That's the word we like to use. So it's going to help you draft a little bit. So the idea is that at the beginning of the week, we are starting to draft, and then we're revising, and then we're coming back to finally submitting who are we as a writer. So you're going to do that through Turn It In. That's due this Saturday. So we have all week to work on it. Take some time. There's no word count on who you are as a writer. Tell your story. That's what I really want. Ideally, you'd write around 500 words, 1,000 words. I don't want 8,000 words, but if that's what it takes to get it all out, that is fine. I'll read it. But more is not necessarily better, and less is not necessarily better. It needs to be whatever is appropriate for the story you have to tell. And I'm sorry I'm doing this weird thing. I don't know what that is. Anyway, that is it for this week. If you have questions, please let me know. I hope you enjoy Labor Day. Some of you I know have to work, but enjoy it. Take that time off. Have a good week. And if you have any questions, please contact me. All right, well, take care.